Howdy, Mark Greathouse here. I deeply appreciate all my readers. Please share in my excitement about the release of my sixth Tumbleweed saga, Nueces Truth, Texans Face War's Realities, published by Defiance Press and Publishing. This saga offers further epic adventures of protagonist Texas Ranger Captain Luke Dunn. Folks might ask, what's such a big deal about another Western? In an age when we're told that America is unexceptional, patriotism's down, church attendance has dropped precipitously, and young marrieds are afraid to raise families, the Western genre, well, I think it is a really big deal. Well, here it is. Came out last week. It's ready for your fall into your hands and feast your eyeballs, climb into its saddle, and enjoy the ride. Edgy adventure, tough hombres, enduring romance, set at the close of the war between the states and at the historical Texas frontier of 1864, blazed from the pages of Nueces Truth. It's more than classic Western fare. The characters and the story, well, they're fictional, but the personifications existed, even as I've worked in actual historical figures of their time. Real events are juxtaposed against a backdrop of rugged but wildly beautiful landscapes. War had swept the nation. Most of Texans' best men had joined the fight, leaving the Texas frontier vulnerable to desperados, bandits, and hostile Indians. Luke Dunn's life is caught up with law and order on the rough and tumble and increasingly war-ravaged prairies of the Nueces Strip, while struggling with fundamental moral conflicts and his obligations to wife and family. This reveals an inherent contradiction in terms with Western genre in general, not the least of which is its malleability as it transitioned from gunfights and good versus evil to more complicated stories. Mingled with the aromas of gun smoke, leather, trail dust, and bluebonnets are riptides of the forging of life in a rough and tumble world. Plus, Western authors are obligated to deliver rapid-fire pacing of action and plot as increasingly demanded by readers in an immediate gratification culture. The adaptation brands Western genre as the very backbone of truly American literature, enabling it to endure since its gestation in the early 1800s. It defies credulity that the Western genre grabs little more than a small percentage of readers of fiction. Authors and publishers are left to wonder at what the marketplace is afraid of. Those who blithely tossed out, "Oh, I don't read Westerns," ought to think again, as a genre is ever inspired to reinvent itself. As to Luke Dunn and Nueces Truth, well, I've striven to deliver a character for whom a broader readership just might seek him out. As is traditional with Western genre, just as about anywhere he rides, death could be reaching for his reins. But Dunn is more complicated. He has to deal with a rogue rebel raider, Cole Younger, hostile Apache chief Costalites, and the predatory Red Robin of the Rio Grande, Cheno Cortina, while battling post-war injustices. Comanche call him Ghost Who Rides. His and Alyssa's ardor, well, they knows no bounds. Rogue soldiers pose clear and present dangers. A not-so-civil war rages on, and issues of man's inhumanity to man must be dealt with. Savages, they fight back against their certain demise, and everything converges in Little Nueces Town, Texas. So with Nueces Truth, Texans Face War's Realities, I invite you to celebrate American exceptionalism, renew your patriotic vibe, rekindle your faith, and rebuild an optimistic view of your future. So I'm excited about the release of Nueces Truth. I still want to remind y'all that my anthology of short stories and poetry, Tumbleweed Tumblings, Western Tales and Verses, awaits your reading pleasure. Western verse, you ask? Well, songs and even poetry were alive and well on the Western frontier, and I offer my very own brand. As famed poet T.S. Eliot points out, Poets in our civilization as it exists at present must be difficult. The poet must become more and more comprehensive, more elusive, more indirect, in order to force, to dislocate if necessary, language into its meaning. Hopefully, I've honored that thinking. So please go online and buy your copy today. My books are available from Defiance Press and Publishing, online, from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and most popular online booksellers. Now, throughout the coming year, I figure to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the Texas Rangers. While blending in personas of my Texas Ranger ancestors, I've crafted my Tumbleweed Saga protagonist Luke Dunn as the prototypical Texas Ranger, delivering justice on the Texas frontier. To that end, I encourage you to buy my Tumbleweed Sagas and do watch for the release of the 7th and final of the Tumbleweed Sagas later this year. Meanwhile, I urge you to find yourself a comfy place, let your imagination come alive, reliving America's Old West through the Tumbleweed Tumblings and my Tumbleweed Sagas. If you've not read a Western novel lately, I can assure you that spurs or saddle are really not necessary. Just ease back, enjoy a cup of coffee, or even sip a glass of wine or something more potent. And I'd be especially obliged if you'd post a review. So happy trails, and you all do take care.